Most people know that deforestation is a big global issue. Companies don't want to be associated with deforestation if they can avoid it. How do you go about that?
If it's done right, it's a very good thing. If it's not, it's hard to fix your mistake you've made with a bulldozer, right? Like you can't stand a tree back up, so you've got to get it right the first time. You don't know what you can't clear unless you go and measure it.
Every day Nestle fails to take concrete action to remove destructive palm oil from companies like Wiesner Moss from its supply chain is another day the orangutan is pushed closer to the brink of extinction. Nestle must clean up its act now.
I'm coming to Frankie Wijaya now, CEO of Golden Agri Resources.
Golden Agri has pioneered for the deforestation free since 2011. It's very important for us to be able to know which areas to be planted and which area is to be preserved. For this instance, we have worked with NGOs like Greenpeace, which we are very happy, also TFT.
Chipol is Solomon Islands company, which is 80% owned by New Britain Palm Oil. Only producers of palm oil in the country. We're invited into the country to try and build an industry, provide a lot of employment. We're the second largest employer in the country. And hopefully with this current potential expansion work's doing, we could become the largest employer in the country. Yes, there are some bad apples or there are some bad companies that do take out good forest, but people have to learn to accept that there are companies that do the right thing. So perhaps this no deforestation is putting a bit of pressure on us, but I think it will also give us the opportunity to teach and show other people that there are companies who are doing it for the right reasons and doing it correctly, not just knocking over trees for the fun of it. The Forest Trust have come here to try and help us develop the land in the best way possible, I suppose.
A lot of people have the question about what does HCS add to what was already being done prior? Part of the problem was that practitioners didn't have a commonly used tool to consistently map the vegetation on the site. Our goal was to consistently identify the forest from the non-forest. But not all vegetation is the same ecologically. It can be a real mix, and not all of it is healthy. The goal of HCS is to have a greater understanding of that vegetation and to map that into different classes. The shrubs, the grasslands, all the way through into that remnant forest. What we're doing is trying to collect data scientifically. Creating that picture of the ecology on the site consistently.
Okay, from the HCV report. Yeah.
The end product of HCS is to have reliable data that company can develop a land use plan. More and more stakeholders getting involved with the process. It's been building, it's been getting a lot of momentum.
Basically 1 to 4, I should say, peatland or riparian zones, other protected areas, including community areas.
Forest has lied to you about this, carbon interests lied to you about this, but what we see from our experience is that
there was a need for the HCS approach to implement the no deforestation commitments. And this is largely because the HCV methodologies and approaches that were being used were not protecting the forest, the key forest areas. They weren't doing that. The certification requirements such as RSPO were not doing it as well.
We're all here together, nonprofits from both social side of things and the environmental side. And then we have a lot of the companies here who are actually implementing the approach in the field. We published a toolkit which was very well received, but we need to update it. We need to think about the new challenges and how we're going to address them. We're not always on the same page, but we're talking and we're learning and we're moving forward.
Pretty much normally as you've done in Mexico. Then this is the step 11 where you look at the other outlet.
The HCS approach starts with the client providing us with a boundary of the area where they want to develop. And there could be some grasslands, there could be some gardens, there could be areas of really big forest.
I overdid it. I overcooked it, mate.
Using satellite imagery enables us to understand what is existing before we go on the ground. What you try and do is plan a route through the particular assessment area that will take you through most of the forest. You can't visit it all. You know, that's why you do sampling.
Yeah, we could get out there. That'd be nice.
Yeah, but no. Well,
yeah, probably not.
Look at the colour of it. It's all regenerating. It's light green.
We are going to assess the vegetation at a pre-located point. So we have a set of coordinates, points on a map that we navigate to.
That's it, boys. That's the line.
Once we're at the particular site, we set up an inventory plot. So we look at collecting diameters and heights of all the trees in a specific area.
So we'll start here and we'll work around this direction. Do we have any trees in the below 5 centimetres or 5 centimetres to 15 centimetres? And we work around clockwise.
6.1.
6.1. Very good. How tall is he?
13.
Species? Makaranga. 7.2. Everyone have a go. Yeah. Last one for small plot. What have we got?
7.9.
7.9. What about this quadrant here, guys? 22.6. Big plot. Iliocarpus. Excellent.
No, you need to go higher. Higher.
It's a volume plot, so we're using the volume of biomass, which we can then convert to carbon by knowing the species, so using the species-specific wood density.
All right, let's go to the next one.
It sounds complicated, but it's really not. You're really measuring the height and diameter of a range of trees in an area. I do feel like it's a large responsibility because often, my assessment may well be the thing that decides the fate of a particular piece of vegetation,
Many species in the swamp, huh?
You end up with that burden on your shoulders and you just hope it's why you study forest science, so you make that informed decision.
The private sector must take deforestation out of commodity supply chains. A silent revolution is already on its way on this point. Every week we are seeing new commitments being made. The New York Declaration on Forests is groundbreaking in its level of ambition. For the first time, there's a broad agreement on a timeline for halting forest loss.
If we marched into the lands out east and just started developing, we'd be running back very quickly. We would lose money on it. They can cause so much damage. When there was a bad relationship with the community, tractors were stolen, the houses were broken into, rocks got thrown at people, employees got injured, employees got chased off with bush knives because the locals weren't happy. Without their consent, permission or agreeance, without their agreeance and forcing them into something they don't want to do or don't understand, it's not going to be sustainable, it's not going to be long term. And you need that backing, that support from the locals. Not just here, anywhere, worldwide. You need your local community. It's their land.
Does decentralisation include informing communities their right not to participate and not to have the assessment take place?
Often we see development take place, whether for conservation or for industrial plantations, without getting community consent. And that can lead to many problems, to conflicts with communities, to their impoverishment, to their displacement. And so right up front, recognising and respecting community rights to be involved in the development planning is key, and this is summarised in that expression: to seek and obtain their free, prior and informed consent to developments that will affect them.
Communities are vitally important. I think that's really the focus of the toolkit now, to try to adapt, to understand the community rights, the customary ownership, livelihoods, values, and incorporate that into the HCS approach.
Hello.
So welcome you now. You can introduce yourself.
So we're doing some assessment in this area to try to understand the landscape better, the environment, and also the community. So that's a good thing.
That's one good thing about it.
Everybody's clear about who owns the land, who gets the money. Okay.
Land here is a connection. It is a connection between tribes. It's a connection among tribes. We don't walk on one places every now and then. We used to shift cultivation or whatever they call it.
There is a value there. What is worth preserving, what isn't, and what is marginal. And then we go and talk to the community and say these are areas on a global, more of a landscape, land planning use that we can develop. And these are areas that we can't. Are you happy with it? And then they'll have their input. There's more an overall picture. Yes, there is a technical part with the high carbon stock, but there's still that overall social needs. What has it been used for? What is its best use that I see with HCS? It's a lot more practical. The buyers, the traders, the users want to see that things are done responsibly. This is an opportunity to show both ways that yes, we can develop, and yes, we're developing responsibly. This is going above the standard, being better than you have to be, because you want to be.
Height. Next, 3 diameter, 17.5.
Yeah.
The calibrated height is 10 meters.
Next one.
Ned, you ready for next?
Yeah, man.
I'm finished. 5 to 15.
Yeah.
Maybe 10 to me. Or plot like a pass. 21.3.
Yeah.
6.5.
It's a pretty big job.
Oh, it's not.